Hello fellow gamers, you may have watched my earlier GamesCom video where I covered the big games and most possible announcements, and if not, please check it out. Here I'm covering games that are due this year or early next year that are a little under the radar. You may like some you may not. First up, in no particular order, is a retro remake, Shadow Warriors. This FPS hack and slash em-up was launched last year on Steam and is due for X1 and PS4 this year. Now, I don't like to prejudge games, but anyone who has played the PC version knows it is a retro game in more ways than one, owing more than a nod to the violent and foul-mouthed Duke Nukem, and like this game, should probably stay well under the radar. You got the power! Next up, we have Lords of the Fallen, a game which is very much in the mould of Dark Souls 2. The game has a medieval style and setting with a dark dungeon and RPG element allowing you to tailor your character to your own ends. No matter where you start, you have a huge hulking tattooed warrior that is marked for all his previous sins. And now is the time to lay the smack down on others, as the world is in peril and only, yeah, you get the gist. You pick from a base selection of 3 classes as you start: cleric, rogue or warrior, and then on can boost weapons, armour and magic. Again, following in the style of Dark Souls, battles are a case of hard but fair. You will die a lot as you learn the relevant attacks and weaknesses of your foe, and then stick the boot in. Being a PC, X1 and PS4 only game, it surpasses the visual quality of Dark Souls 2, even from the PC version, with solid character design and great lighting, but it could be a surprise hit. Very much in the mould of this, we follow the largely misunderstood Shadow of Mordor, set between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. You play Talion, guardian of the Black Gate of Mordor, and when we join him, he's dead. Slain by Sauron's armies, revived and cursed with wraith-like abilities, and being entwined together, they both set out to extract revenge and find and break the curse they are in. One of the game's strong points is the Nemesis system, which allows you to take over the kind of enemies and scare them, control them, bend them to your will. Not only this, but they remember your actions. If you battle and you win, they may be afraid next time. They may fight to the death. If you are killed by them, then the next battle will involve the confusion as to why you are still breathing.
Is this some kind of joke? I killed you already!
A nice touch and something that does generally make the game more unique for each player. It looks great, and Mordor is yet to become a barren wasteland, so the lush grass and setting sun all look lovely. With a 1080-60 target for next gen and PC, it also looks to deliver a smooth, third-person hack and slash. With Talion voiced by the ever-talented and busy Troy Baker, you know the voice work will be more than up to scratch.
If what you say is true, then how do we break this curse? We find the one who cast it on us.
Into a much lighter mode, we scream into The Crew, a car racing RPG of sorts. Being an open world, across America at least, you are free to razz about, recruit other teams and pimp your ride to your heart's content. This basically plays out as a Fast and Furious style car sim, with rival gangs, extreme trash talk and 17 gears in each car. After playing the beta, I must admit to finding the control system very long-winded, and the mission and the flow of the game's a little dull. Graphically, it also fails to impress and really has a tough time, I feel, convincing people to buy this above the large selection of other racing games coming out this year. Talking of racing games, another one in the hunt and vying for your cash is the multi-platform Project Cars. Being a crowd-funded for what seems to be forever, it has reached the end of its race to hit our machines, with the PS4, PC and X1 all having a slice, with Wii U possibly next year, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Again, looking very solid with over 70 cars and tracks, all accessible from the get-go, and the new buzzword of targeting 1080-60 across all 3, I suspect the X1 may have to sacrifice something to achieve that, or a drop to sub 1080, but don't expect this to make a huge difference. Again, it looks very solid and detailed with some great visuals, models and lighting, all running at the preferred FPS of a racing game. It could prove to be a real challenge for Drive Club and Forza Horizon 2 to take the top step on your podium. Sorry, racing related gag there. But again, it needs far more awareness to be pushed, which it may get at GamesCom. We shall see. Another game struggling a little with its identity crisis is Fable Legends. The exclusive rebirth of the Lionhead Microsoft franchise announced here 12 months ago had a solid if somewhat muted reveal at E3. We got to see the humour in the characters, solid fantasy design and great visual quality and particle effects. Again, targeting the holy grail of 1080 but at 30 FPS, this does look visually very solid. allowing you to play as a good guy or a bad guy, with the bad guy taking more of an RTS style design. The good guy looks to be having all of the fun. Having the standard RPG and treasure seeking elements in place, it seems to tick all the relevant Fable boxes. Containing a very impressive global illumination system with dynamic light sources and shadows, seen here for the self-lighting torches at night. You gotta love that medieval tech, casting light and shadows on the lumbering ogre before being turned to ice and smashed to pieces. A solid visual treat with online co-op that we can hopefully test out this Christmas with the beta, with a sometime in 2015 release date yet to be announced. Now from one fantasy RPG we roll into another. Dragon's Age has been into development for what seems to be an age. BioWare have again crafted a rich world and characters that we can control, improve and take on our journey to free the land and right the wrongs. Magic spells, epic battles, dragons and dark sorcery all play their part. Having a combat system that caters for both real-time and more strategic battling using the freeze-frame battle cam mean it should cater for all tastes. But again, it seems to be flying without the banner-waving media that you would expect of such a game merely months from release. Using the Frostbite 3 engine, it looks to deliver a very solid visual experience with particle and lighting effects, and allegedly on Xbox One and PS4 run at 60 frames per second. We shall see. And it's just the story and the characters, and if they can keep us all enthralled until the bitter end. From dragons to zombies, Dying Light is another game that seems to be in development for a very long time and has since been put back again until February of next year, which is looking like the busiest month in the history of gaming. Anyway, this game looks to be delivered on a first-person, 60 frames, 1080p, fast and frantic action, the 4-player online cooperative mode, the multifaceted weapon option, and also the fact that you can tailor your character to how you want them to be. The parkour options and the fact that during the day you're in control and all the zombies lumber around, and during the night it is certainly reversed and turned on its head, with your main task now stopping your arse from getting munched and keeping yourself away from the dirty lumbering zombie hordes. Hopefully it won't turn into the fetch task of Dead Island 2 where everyone stood around keeping their arse safe while you did all the work. That was the biggest problem I had with that game. This certainly looks like it has a lot more scope and aspect to it, and let's keep our fingers crossed that it delivers on the promise of this trailer. Elsewhere we enter into a game I have very much on my radar, and also receives the award for actually having a pre-order bonus that's worth pre-ordering for. Containing a level with the entire original cast of Alien in place, even with the itsy witsy teeny weeny Ripley underwear, well maybe. This game seems to have the claustrophobic jump scare terror down pat, and even the beginning VHS star is a true example of the attention to detail being lavished on this. Leaving behind the pungent odour of colonial marines, we have what looms to be the best game adaptation of the late great H.R. Geiger's most famous work. Being stranded on the Nostradamus with the alien and killer bots for company, you play Amanda, Ripley's daughter, in search for her mum, and instead finding a big headache, if you know what I mean. Visually it delivers a very solid view, with great use of depth of field, motion blur and other post-processing effects that really bring the cinematic feel to the game. With what is promised to be a great AI in the alien and the onboard cyborgs that leave you running and hiding for your life, it hopefully will scare the bejeebus out of us, and just hope it is not lost in the big Christmas games rush. From one horror game to another, Resident Evil creator Shinji Mikamo and father of survival horror returns with a gruesome new chapter in gore, suspense and downright nastiness. You play a detective caught up in a murder investigation as your partners are all brutally slain. It only seems appropriate at this point to tie you up and knock you out, and then leave you alone to unravel and survive this debauched and grotesque world, hopefully solving the mystery, not filling your pants in the process. Fingers crossed it won't be a by the numbers fest and have some genuine new ideas and experiences contained within the evil. Due in October across all last and current gen and PC. Another game under the radar and due in November is the latest entry in the Little Big Planet series, number 3. With Sackboy's first entry onto the PS4 and being on the PS3, he brings along some new friends and options to allow you to play through the imaginative world or create your own crazy stitched levels and challenges for yourself or everyone else within the community. Visually it looks nice and tidy with no huge leap over the previous impressive PS3 outings, other than a full 1080 display on PS4 and an equal 30 FPS on both platforms to keep the experience identical for all. Not sure if PS3 players can share worlds with PS4 owners, which would be a nice touch, but hopefully we will find out more at Gamescom from the new master of the Helm, developer Sumo Digital, taking over from Media Molecule. Most likely as they have been busy with their new IP, which looks to be announced here. Expect an imaginative and a crazy world with claymation style design using the pad and the move and maybe even VR integration. We may also see the new IP from Guerrilla Games here. Much rumoured stunning looking fantasy RPG. Here's hoping. E3 seems to be a better place for such a big game. Stay tuned. And finally we step into another remaster, or in this case another definitive edition, of a game, this time having the PC version receive the same update. Square Enix again take a last gen game, all DLC content and update and improve the visuals and assets to better take advantage of the current generation. Or so they say. Here you see the PC version, but expect a bump up on some visual aspects of this game, with the downloaded texture pack surely being standard, which helped out on the original PC release. I doubt it will be on the level of Tomb Raider or the latest Metro Redux, which look to have had a solid amount of work and updates applied to them both. We know it will be a full 1080, but no word on frame rate yet, with PC clearly being what mileage you can get from your setup, and X1 and PS4 most likely being split dev as per Tomb Raider. Again, my guess would be, as per the last definitive edition we received, the lack of frame rate information, just like that game, and judging on the shots from here, I would imagine a 60 FPS target on PS4 and a locked 30 on Xbox One, or maybe even an unlocked one for people who don't mind fluctuating frame rates. We shall see. The game is fun and certainly looked good when launched. It is not up to Watch Dogs levels now, but for sure, maybe with this update it may get a little bit closer. The lighting and texture quality can be a bit hit and miss, and if you've not played this then it certainly is well deserved and worth a pickup, and to get you ready for Sleeping Dogs 2. Unfortunately, my plan for live streaming the conferences next week cannot happen. As it conflicts with so many copyright issues, I'm just going to get myself in trouble and probably pulled within the first 10 minutes of it being up. So instead I will have a review video up on Tuesday night of all the events and news, and you can watch the live streams on your console or on the choice for the links below. As always, if you enjoy this or any of my other content, please hit that red button below and join me. Like if you do, and comment below as you see fit. I always love to hear feedback and information from you guys. Now you guys and girls take care. I'll leave you with the martial arts launch trailer of Sleeping Dogs, and I will high kick my way out of here and see you on the other side of Gamescom.
Peggy 18.
Make an example of him.